As we all know, the climate crisis is an existential threat. Students can have an impact on the future by acting together in coordinated ways. ACE is shifting the narrative on climate change. ACE educates young people about the science of climate change and empowers them to take action. And in 2021, ACE is launching a new approach to organizing, which will create new opportunities for student leaders. Presenting on behalf of ACE is Marquez, who will explain ACE's new youth organizing program and how to get involved in growing it. Marco, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. So my presentation is going to be talking about youth organizing to save the planet and our communities. My name is Marquez. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a chapter manager for ACE, the Alliance for Climate Education. And I am based out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So many people say I have a thick Wisconsin accent, so bear with me. But I'm going to be talking to you about how young people, specifically high school students throughout the country, are working with ACE and taking action in their schools and their communities to stop climate change. And whenever I talk about climate change, I like to kind of frame the conversation. And I really like this quote from Eddie Batista to start us off. He says, "This is not just about the environment, it's about the community, it's about jobs, it's about justice." Eddie Batista is an environmental activist in New York. And I like this quote because lots of people think that climate change or the fight to stop climate change is about saving the polar bears or saving certain plants from going extinct or saving animals from going extinct. And it is about that. But that's not the only reason we should be fighting to save the planet. We need to be fighting to save ourselves as well. People think about climate change as this far off problem in the future, or a problem that's affecting people in a completely different part of the world, but it's not. It's affecting people every single day. Here in California, here in Milwaukee, where I am, in California as well, and throughout the United States. So I care about the polar bears, I do, but I also care about my community, and I care about saving the planet and saving ourselves, and so do so many young people who are taking action with us. So we can dive into my presentation. Like I said, ACE is the Alliance for Climate Education. Our mission is to educate young people on the science of climate change and empower them to take action. So how do we do that? We have education programs where we've educated over 2 million students nationwide. We have videos on YouTube. We have lesson plans. We have different activities and curriculum that high school teachers can use to teach their classrooms. But we also have action programs where we've empowered over 300,000 youth to take action, where we work directly with high school students themselves. And we've worked with them through a program we call the Action Fellowship. And that's what I'm here to talk to you a little bit more about. So historically, traditionally, each Action Fellowship that ACE has had between 15 to 20 high school students, where we've given them lesson plans, programming, events, actions that they can take in their communities. And what do Action Fellows do? Fellows build the skills, confidence, and knowledge to be lifelong climate leaders. And you'll do this by learning about climate science, environmental justice, environmental racism, campaign planning. You'll develop leadership skills like organizing, communicating, and public speaking. You'll be able to organize your peers and the community through advocacy campaigns to advance local climate solutions. And you'll be able to speak at events, participate in marches, meet with elected officials, and collaborate with other partners that are fighting with us in the fight to stop climate change. But we are currently changing our fellowship model to be a more distributed organizing type model, because we want the climate movement to be all about you. So in the past, ACE has hired people like me to run each fellowship wherever we are. But we're changing that so that even if there isn't an ACE staff member in your part of California, you can start a chapter or a fellowship all on your own. We're hoping to put all of our resources online so that wherever you are, if you want to start a chapter, you can do it, and you can organize your community right where you are. And we want to do that because we want to empower you all to do whatever it is that you want to do in your communities to take action on climate change, because climate change isn't going to stop until we organize our communities to take action to make change. And you all are already experts on your communities. You know what it takes to get your friends and your family members to commit to take action on things that they care about. You know what issues your community needs help with. You know how you're getting affected by climate change. And if you don't, or if you need any help along the way, that's what I'm here for. That's what ACE's staff is here for. But we at ACE have created this distributed organizing model to empower you all to take action locally on climate change. And we'll give you everything that you need to create petitions, to text bank your community around important actions or events, to organize protests at banks, fossil fuel companies, or politicians' offices, to register young people to vote for climate leaders, and a whole lot more. So we're just trying to give you all the tools and give you the power to use those tools in any way that you see most effective. And we have a ton of work to do, especially in California. I have this graphic up here from last week. I know that California is going through a pretty excessive heat wave at the moment. So you can see these temperatures here listed, and keep an eye on the last bullet here. Heat-related illnesses could occur. Heat is the #1 weather-related killer combined. Compared to hurricanes, compared to earthquakes, tornadoes, all of these things, all of those things combined, heat is the most deadly weather-related emergency or killer. And so it's really important. And I know that heat waves are getting longer and happening way more often in California. And that's directly because of climate change. And I know that you all know the importance and the severity of wildfires, and how wildfires are happening way more often, are lasting longer, are becoming bigger than ever, bigger than normal. And that's also directly because of climate change. But even those types of environmental phenomena aside, people in urban environments in California, be it in LA or other cities, are growing up and living right next to fossil fuel operations like oil wells, like natural gas wells, which leads to health problems. And we're seeing that throughout many communities, but especially BIPOC communities, where we see a lot of these fossil fuel operations in Black communities and Indigenous communities and communities of color. So there's a lot of things that need to happen, that need to change. And so we need a ton of young people like you, who can organize your friends, can organize your family, can organize your school, can organize an entire city if you want to, so that we can have one collective voice and tell the governor, tell fossil fuel companies, tell whoever it is that we need to tell, to fix these things, to stop these things, to make our lives a priority. And so we really need an all hands on deck approach, because there's so many issues that we really need to tackle. But within our organizing model, there is a role for everyone. You can be the chapter leader if you want to start a new chapter or a fellowship. You can be the person that's running every single meeting, that's organizing the agenda, that's figuring out what the team's going to work on. You can be on the leadership team. So maybe you're not the leader, but you have some more responsibilities. Maybe you don't have a ton of time to commit, but you really want to be invested and you want to help in any way that you can. You can be a volunteer for a chapter. A chapter or a fellowship, if you don't have a ton of time to commit, but you still want to stay involved. So there's plenty of ways to get active with ACE, and to be active in your community or around a chapter or a fellowship. It's up to you. It's up to you, whatever it is that you want to commit to, and you want to dedicate yourself to. But all of this does come with benefits. So in addition to all of the skills that you'll receive, like I mentioned before, you'll also receive money in the form of a stipend based on your role in the chapter. So if you're the chapter lead, you'll get a certain amount of money. If you're on the leadership team, you'll get a different amount of money. And we'll also take into consideration, how many actions you've been able to take, how big is your chapter, and so on. You'll also be able to build your resume and your skills, and connect with young people who care about climate justice from all over your state and the country. So I hope that all of that sounds really good to a lot of you, and I hope that you all are ready to get started. There are plenty of ways to start. So if you're interested in starting or joining a chapter, you'll receive that survey that we mentioned before at the end of the conference. And if you put ACE as an organization that you're interested in learning more about, I'll be able to reach out to you and we can schedule a Zoom meeting. You can join ACE's Youth Action Network. So you can text the word ACE to 42108. And doing that, you'll be opted into our communications, where we'll send you links to petitions that we have, actions that are happening near you, online events that we might be hosting, and stuff like that. And you can also follow ACE on Instagram at ACESpace, or on our TikTok, which is at Alliance for Climate. Or you can join our influencer network, where we're paying young people like you to make social media posts on TikTok or on Instagram, talking about some of these big issues that people need to start talking about, that young people need to start talking about, as well as like shared links to petitions or click to call action, so we can start pressuring the people that we need to pressure to make these changes. So I know that was a lot in a short amount of time, but again, I just want to thank everyone for allowing me to speak to you all. And you can email me with any questions that you have. My email is on the screen there, marco@acespace.org. And I can open up the floor for any types of questions y'all have. Questions about the chapters, questions about climate change, whatever. I'm all ears.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marco, for that really engaging and thoughtful presentation. We do have some questions. And so our first question for you is, how can student leaders communicate about climate change in the most effective and inclusive way?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, climate change is a very divisive issue sometimes. And so we have some lesson plans and programming that we offer, where we go through, like, what's the best way to have a climate conversation? What's the best way to talk to a family member who might be skeptical about climate change? And a lot of it boils down to, what are people afraid of when we think of climate change? What feelings or emotions come out when we talk about the topic? And we'd be surprised to find that it's hard to have a conversation with someone who does work at a coal factory or on an oil rig, and it's hard to tell them, hey, what you're doing is wrong. It's like, well, I'm not mad with the people who are doing things to put food on their table, but we need to realize that if we are going to transition away from these more fossil fuels, we need to have Black communities in mind. We need to have Indigenous communities in mind. We need to have communities of color in mind, and make sure that the people who are on the front lines of these crises are getting the benefits when we switch to more renewable energies, and getting those jobs, and shutting down these factories and pollution centers that are contaminating people's water and affecting people's lungs and so on. But that's a really good question. It is really tough. It's tough.
Awesome. Another student asks, can you be more specific about how to create an ACE chapter?
Yes. So we'll be having like an online platform, hopefully to launch this fall or this winter, where you'll be able to join ACE's network, and kind of choose your own adventure. So there'll be options for you to select, yeah, I want to start my own chapter where I am, or I want to join a chapter that's already been created. So we're in the process of building all of those kind of those avenues for action. But in the meantime, you can stay connected with ACE through our Instagram, through our website, which is acespace.org, or through our Youth Action Network, which is the texting platform that I mentioned.
Awesome. Another student named Nana asks, I already have an eco club, presumably ecosystem club or something related to environment, and we are taking actions through other methods, but is it possible to get involved, but staying as a separate organization and not necessarily an ACE chapter?
Yeah, that's a great question as well. Yeah, we've been having conversations with other organizations you could just be kind of classified as both. You could have your own eco club that is also an ACE chapter. And we're not trying to restrict anyone like on any actions that they want to take. If there's actions that you want to take that are related to climate change, that are important to you and your community, go ahead and take them. We will have like campaigns that we can offer for people to plug into. But at the end of the day, we want to give you all of the tools that you need, so that you can use those tools in whatever way you see fit. You are an expert on your own community. You're an expert on your own area. So do whatever it is that you need to do to build that collective voice, and make change wherever it is that you are.
Awesome. And we have just one more question or time for just one more question. Are there ways to help out over the summer or is it too soon right now?
Yes, so there are still plenty of ways to stay plugged in. Like I mentioned, we have our influencer program where we pay young people to make TikToks and to make social media posts with like links to our petitions and links to our action pages and stuff like that. But also we have plenty of petitions and other actions circulating nonstop. And the climate movement doesn't stop for us. So we always have ways to plug in. But yes, we're hoping to launch our full fellowship this fall, hopefully.
Awesome. Marco, well, it's been such a pleasure having you and hearing about ACE. We truly thank you so much for your time and we wish you a good rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. See ya.